We live in today and the future, and that's what we've shown absolute competency in being able to accelerate this rollout. We are now making sure we get it through as quickly as possible. The participation is such that overwhelmingly the people watching this will know people who have definitely had one inoculation, to be in the majority, and many of their friends will now have two, and that's what they want to focus on. If the Labor Party, when you had on your masthead on the weekend, on the inside is Mr. Butler, the Shadow Minister for Health. When they said, well, what is the number that you were driving for? There was no answer. So what that shows is political rhetorical flourishes without answers, but merely history lessons, which at the time and prior to that, there was no speeches that they had a different view.
You say people are getting vaccinated. It's great. No one disputes the fact that more people should get vaccinated more quickly. But we hear a lot from people who struggle to get doses. So what do you say, Barnaby, Joyce, to the mums and dads of 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds who are desperate to get their kids vaccinated with Pfizer? They simply cannot. And if they can, they have to wait months to get doses, particularly in those hotspots in Sydney. Can you honestly look them in the eye and say the government has done a good job with the vaccine rollout?
We are rolling it out. We started with the most vulnerable people in the community. We started with aged care facilities. We're dealing with people in remote Indigenous areas. We're dealing with people who have disabilities. We're making sure that those who are most likely to be more dramatically affected by the virus are vaccinated first. We also say what is the truth, that your risk, the younger you get, is vastly less. And as children, in many instances, asymptomatic and they wouldn't realise they got it. We understand, we tell them the truth, that there are exceptions to that. We understand and tell them the truth that when this is over, people will still get COVID, and tragically, some people will die. But we have to be pragmatic, and we have to move to a society that's opening up, because the Australian people want their liberties and their freedoms back. And I would also say to those, if we want to do this properly, we must coordinate across the nation, and not for some sort of grand parochial purpose, say that by some magic trick it'll never arrive in Western Australia or it'll never arrive in Queensland, unless you just want to completely shut the place up like North Korea.
Just finally, I mean, you are talking about telling the truth, and you speak candidly, which I think a lot of people like. Can you honestly say, telling the truth, that you reckon the government has done a good job with the vaccine rollout?
I believe that where we are now, I'm telling the truth at the start. And with hindsight, of course, you do things differently. But we don't live in the past. And what that shows is a disrespect for where we're going here into the future. If you want to have the debate, show the competency of the debate and the competency of your knowledge, and engage in the debate from here into the future. And if that makes things work better, then that is the right thing to do. But if what your weight of the debate is some sort of history lesson, then you're frolicking in the process of thinking, I'll get political gain out of the pain, but I'll never offer any substance in a debate for the future. And that just reflects completely where you were in the past. You had no different ideas. It was exactly the same, just like you have no different ideas now.
You're talking about the Labor Party, of course. We're talking about the real-life consequences of people who are waiting unnecessarily long times for Pfizer. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Barnaby, Joyce.
It's always a pleasure, Michael. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thank you.